Welcome to the School Leaders Podcast. My name is Dr. Gastrid Harrigan, the podcast for current and emerging school leaders, those who support and supervise them. You will hear from passionate educational leaders who are transforming their schools, communities, and creating positive outcomes for students. I will also share my personal reflections and tips from over 15 years as a school leader. Together, we will talk about how to level up our schools and leadership practices. Hello. Welcome to the School Leaders Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Gastrid Harrigan. Thank you for making the School Leaders Podcast part of your growth journey. Several years ago when I went to college, I studied engineering. I started working after college as an engineer, and I began also my master's degree in computer engineering. And the tech bubble happened, and I lost my job. One day, I saw an ad in our local newspaper advertising a teacher's fair. I thought to myself, I can teach for a while as I finish my degree in engineering. I went to the teacher's fair, and on my first interview, the first school that interviewed me, they hired me as a math teacher. Within 2 to 3 weeks, the school year started, and I started teaching math at the high school level. After my first year, I decided to stay in education and move up to administration. I began volunteering in various committees and school-wide events and initiatives. I began to deepen my skills to become a better, effective math teacher. And the school that I was at was a struggling school at the time. It was an F school, and we became a C school. In fact, the math department was very instrumental in leading the school. The math scores was a significant factor that pulled the school grade up. And out of the 27 math teachers in my department, I was fortunate to be in the top 3 math teachers with the highest achievement scores. And so 4 years later, I had the privilege to become an assistant principal, and I work alongside the new principal to lead her new school to receiving the Governor's Award for Academic Excellence. So today, I will share several tips that I think could help emerging and aspiring school leaders to become an assistant principal, curriculum coach, or move into district position. But before we get too deep in today's episode, I want to encourage all of the listeners to join the School Leaders Podcast community on Facebook. There we continue and extend our conversation from the episodes. And don't forget to check my website at www.drgharrigan.com. There you can listen to the podcast, read the monthly blog, and sign up for our monthly blog or monthly newsletter. I would like to thank all of you who are sharing the podcast on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and on LinkedIn. Thank you. When you share the podcast, please tag me so I can personally thank you. Right now, take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and share this episode. Don't forget to also leave a 5-star rating and a positive comment. When you do, it help other listeners to find the podcast. Let's get started. In today's episode, I'm going to share 6 tips for aspiring school leaders. As you listen, examine yourself. Consider these tips and areas for improvement. Tip number 1, make your intention known. If your school principal does not know you want to move into an administrative role or into a support role or into a district role, you're in trouble. You have to share your goal with your principal, your dream with your principal. If they know that you want to move up, they will truly help you to become and reach that specific goal. And if they don't know, you will be trying to climb this mountain, this challenge by yourself. And trust me, it is not an easy task. So I recommend that you ask to meet with your principal. And when you sit down to talk to them, I want you to start the conversation like this. Thanks for taking a few minutes to meet with me. I was really hoping to get your advice. Then let them know your goals and use this as a learning opportunity. Leaders, especially school leaders, love giving advice. approaching the meeting as an opportunity to learn from your principal, give you an opportunity to allow them to help you reach your goal. When you ask for advice, they will want to help. They will want to tell you about various opportunities for how you can lead on your school campus. That's exactly what you want. You want opportunities. You want different opportunities to lead on your school campus and gain more experience. Tip number 2, be good at your job. It is very important that you spend time developing your skills and knowledge in your current job and in your current role. It is important that you develop a solid reputation as an instructional leader, as someone who moves the instructional agenda forward. You should be a good teacher, be good at your current role, be exceptionally well at what you do, one who improves student achievement. It's important that you take time to improve your technical skills. Being really competent in your job matters. Being really competent in your job truly matters. You have to be good instructional leader. You have to know instructional strategies and have a working knowledge of good management skills and instructional skills, not only to impact your own students, but also down the road you will use those skills to be better at your job. It's important that you build and maintain an excellent personal reputation as an instructional leader. Be good at what you do. That's the first most important thing, is to be good at your current role, because it will be the foundation, the springboard to the next level. Tip number 3, seek growth opportunities. Seek growth opportunities. Make yourself available and volunteer for committees, for clubs, school-wide events, and initiative. Find ways to help and assist the leadership team. You see, your principal and the administrative team need your help. Hopefully, your conversation with your principal has already resulted in some new opportunities to help. You should also talk to your assistant principal. They are likely to be overwhelmed, overworked, and they will be more than happy to give you valuable experience by allowing you to take on certain tasks around the school building. It could be monitoring the attendance, dealing with student discipline, tracking at-risk students, taking on a school-wide initiative, or simply helping to take on responsibility around extracurricular activity or even sport events. Whatever the responsibility that they decide to share with you, make sure you take advantage of the opportunity. If you turn down too many opportunities, they will stop asking you. And if you are turning down a lot of opportunities, are you sure you really want to move into a support role, into a district role, or even into the assistant principal role in the first place? So it's important that you seek opportunities for growth to develop and do different things around your school. Tip number 4, solve a problem. Look for ways to add value to your school campus. What problem can you solve? It is important on many levels. So it's important as you walk around your school, as you do your job, that you have a keen eye open for various problems. Don't just join the group of folks who just complaining about the problem, but make sure that when you find a problem, you are coming up with different ideas, with different ways to address and solve a problem. Listen, it's easy for everybody to see a problem, but it takes a leader to not only see the problem, but to come up with possible solution for ways to address a problem. That's important because, number 1, it will obviously help improve your school campus, which should also positively impact students. Number 2, it will get you noticed. When you solve a problem and you become a problem solver, it helps you get noticed and it separates you from the pack. Number 3, it will give you specific examples that you can speak to when you get to that support staff, that district, or that assistant principal interview. Being able to speak specifically about ways that you have solved problem and the positive impact on student will quickly set you apart from other aspiring leaders or from other candidates applying for positions. So it's important that you become a problem solver. Seek problems in your building, identified ways, ideas for how to resolve them. Be someone who's a problem solver. Tip number 5, have a growth mindset. Challenge yourself to learn something new every day. Change your mindset to a growth mindset. It's important that you are growing daily. John Maxwell, in his book, The 15 Laws of Growth, I recommend you get a copy. He states that the first law of growth is the law of intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen by chance. You must make it happen. And while he talks about the laws of intentionality, that growth doesn't just happen, he shares the 8 growth gap traps that keep us from reaching our true potential. The 8 growth traps are the assumption gap, the knowledge gap, timing gap, the mistake gap, perfection gap, the inspiration gap, the comparison gap, and the expectation gap. These gaps stop us, prevent us from growing. Hence, it stops us from reaching our true potential. So if you want to cultivate, foster a growth mindset, it's important that you have a personal growth plan. Don't just have goals. Goals are important, but you must create today a personal growth plan. You see, you might reach your goal, but do not grow. But when you have a personal growth plan, you will grow and reach your goal. So it's important that you create a personal growth plan. Make a shift from accidental to intentional growth and have a deliberate plan for how you are going to grow personally. There are 3 things you should do. Number 1, you should ask questions. And these are the 2 questions you should begin with. Which direction do you want to go in life? That will determine the areas that you need to grow into. And the other question is, where's the furthest you can imagine going? Where do you see yourself in 5 years and 10 years? That will determine how intense and the areas that you need to focus on for your personal growth plan. Number 2, take action now. You see, the longer you wait, the less likely you will act. Select a resource, select a reading material, and start learning today. Take action today to begin to grow. Number 3, face your fears. All of us have fears. Are you afraid of failure? You're going to have to face your failure. Are you afraid of uncertainty? Are you afraid of maybe financial losses? Some people are afraid of other people's opinion. What will they think of you? You're afraid of alienating your peers. They may not like you anymore. They may not welcome you in their circle. Whatever that fear is, you're going to have to face that fear if you want to grow. Dig deep to find the faith to help you encounter those fears. You got to face your fears and challenge yourself and grow. Leaders are learners. What are you reading today? What are you listening to? Who are you talking to? These 3 things. What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you talking to? Will incredibly impact your growth as a leader. It is also important that you make sure that the content you are consuming, that you are listening, that you are hearing, that you are reading is the right content, is the right material that will help you grow, that will help you to develop as a leader. John Maxwell once says that the difference between who you are today and who you will be in 5 years will be the people you spend your time with and the books you read. Let me repeat that for you. The difference between who you are today and who you will be in 5 years will be the people you spend time with and the books that you actually read. There's a lot of information out there. So make sure that you are reading and listening to things that will actually help you develop your skill, help you become and grow to the next level in your leadership journey. If you want the best strategies and the best resources as a new and aspiring school leader, I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast. Go on my website, www.drgharrigan.com, and sign up for our monthly newsletter. We will provide you with material, with resources, with ideas that will help you to continue to grow. It's important that you have a growth plan and that you are feeding yourself and learning and growing on a daily basis. It's important that you have a growth mindset. Tip number 6, develop relational skills. Leadership is a people's business. Successful school leaders must have people skills. You must have people skills if you are going to grow into a support role, into a district role, into an assistant principal role. We are in the people's business. And the way we conduct business as leaders is that we have to have people skills. How we talk to people, how you build relationship with people is very important. Leadership is influence. And building relationship and trust with staff and teachers and stakeholders become very important. You have to be able to build relationship and make authentic connection with teachers, with staff, with people around you in your organization, with all stakeholders. Phil McGrath said that the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. You've got to be your own best friend first. So it's very important. It's extremely important that you get to know yourself. Begin to build relationship with yourself. Spend time to know and find yourself. Get to know who you are as a leader, your strength, your challenges. Discover your passions, your joy, your fears. Find out and discover and develop your character. Why do you respond a certain way? Learn and become more self-aware. By knowing how you respond, how you work with other people, that will help you know how to connect with other people. Become more self-aware as an aspiring leader. Next, take time to know your colleagues and learn how to work with them to achieve the goals that you guys have. Challenge each other. Know how to receive ideas and share ideas and work in a collaborative manner to reach a common goal. What's important is that you make connection and you learn to build relationship with people. Today, that's a skill that is invaluable. You have to learn and develop relational skills because whatever job you're going to do in a support role, whether it's at the school-based level, whether it's at the district level, ultimately you're going to have to work with other people. You're going to have to share ideas and collaborate. So developing relational skills, people skill, become critical. A lot of leaders end up not being successful in leadership simply because they cannot and they don't know how to build relationship and make connection with other people. So it's important today that you prioritize making connection and building relationship with folks, developing those skills and making sure that you're able to connect people and build relationship with them. There you have it. I hope you are able to take away at least one nugget to improve as an aspiring school leader. If you know anyone who could benefit from this episode, please share it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me today. Please consider subscribing to the podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and a comment. Share this episode with a friend and on social media. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for leadership ideas and tips. Again, thank you for joining me today. Until next time.